The subject. Okay, good, sir. All right, sir. So the module before us this afternoon is structuring a business, And I just want to check with each and every one of us if you can hear me clearly and if you can see the slides clearly as well.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. I would also request for the participants if you can have because we'll need to do some exercises in between. So if you could get a writing material, a notepad and a pen or a pencil next to you, it would be great. So you can also take some notes and participate in some of the exercises. It's going to be a practical module. And so you can participate. And also if you're okay to share as well, you can put on your videos and also maybe show your note in some of the exercises, just so we can make it as interactive as possible. Okay. Are we set?
Yes.
Let's go. So structuring a business, but before we go into the main discussion today, let's get to know ourselves. If you don't mind, just unmute your mic. If you can, please put on your video, just your name, your profession, and your expectation for the class. So just 3 things about your name, what you do, and what you're expecting from this class. So we would like to go first. We would all speak, so let's just, anyone can go first. So if it's okay, I can also call names. But the idea is we all speak so we all get to know one another as we go on.
Are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah, my name is Ilaboya. Actually, I work in the kitchen, flavor providing a sheet. I work in the kitchen as a kitchen. I work with kitchen chefs as a kitchen steward. So my expectation out of this lesson was to learn more, to improve myself, then to learn new things I haven't known anything about before. Then also to know more, as I said, to acquire certification of me knowing more as to improve myself and to meet new people. That's it, sir.
All right, you're welcome, sir. Just to confirm, your name is Aziz.
Yes.
Okay, all right, you're welcome, Aziz. Thank you. Who would like to go next to your name, your profession, and your expectation for the class? I see. Okay, I'll just go alphabetically from what I see on Zoom. I see Ade doing, I don't know if it's male or female.
Amen.
You can unmute your mic, just your name, your profession, and your expectation for the class.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is Adedoyin Oshilago. Miguel.
Okay.
Yes.
Your profession and your expectation.
Yeah, I used to work in the security sector, but presently I'm unemployed. Yes. I'm open to learn more, to learn about the business idea.
Okay.
Yes, and also to know more. So maybe in future, I can actually start my own business.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I see.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is man or a boy. So my expectation is to grow in the area of my business. That is it.
Okay. All right, Prince. Thank you for joining. In the interest of time, we may have to proceed, but if there's any other person, you can please unmute your mic, or you can just, or if your background is noisy, you can just send it on chat, but it'll be good to know ourselves. Okay, I see, I think Adegoke.
Good afternoon, boss. I'm Adigoke by name. I work in the kitchen as a chef.
Okay, nice to meet you. Thank you. And it's related to your field anyway. So as we know, this skilled enterprise class is focused on the business of food, baking, and events. And as much as possible, I'll try to make the examples related to the context of the class. So a few things about me. Let me just introduce myself before we go into the class as well. So my name is Solomon. As introduced, I have almost 10 years of professional working experience now. I've had the opportunity to work across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. And over these 9 to 10 years, my work experience spans across customer service, commercial operations, business development, commercial strategy, and planning. So hopefully I know a thing or two around business. And I have an educational background in marketing and international business as well, and the certification in project management. I'm also a certified public speaker, and I have a leadership training from Harvard University Summer School. So why am I sharing this? So you can get to know me, and also hopefully my experience working over these years and in different fields would be beneficial to you today and be beneficial for the class as well. Okay, so let's start. Our agenda today would be focused around 3 areas mainly, because our topic is structuring a business. How do we start a business? How do we put structure in place so the business can grow in the future? So we start with what I call the business growth pyramid. I'll show you the different stages of building a business. And then we'll look at, okay, how do I get started? We're going to touch on that briefly, and we'll spend most of our time on how do we structure the business for growth. Then I would open the floor for questions and answers. And at the end of the course, I would request a minute from you to collect your feedback on how we can make the course better in the future. Although we are going to have a dedicated Q&A session at the end, please feel free to stop me in between if you've got a question, or you can send it via the chat. Let's make it as interactive as much as we can. Okay, so far so good. Any questions? Are we set to dive in?
Yes.
Okay. So let me start by asking us a question, and you can unmute your mic or send your thoughts via chat. What do you think is the survival rate of small businesses? And when I say survival rate, how many businesses do you think survive? Take a guess.
Food and catering service, especially.
Come again, sir.
Food and catering service, especially.
They survive, okay. But how many of them? So let's say if we start 10 businesses today, how many do you think would survive after some years? Let's say in 2 years' time, how many do you think would survive?
The same field.
No,
okay, food and catering and also fashion, clothing
Okay.
and textile.
We'll go that place which day?
Okay, in addition to that, so what I'm also trying to understand is how many of those businesses would survive? So the number. So let's say you have 10 people starting a business today. After like 2 years, how many of these businesses do you think would still remain functioning?
Yeah, that's what we are saying same thing. There are some kind of business I want to mention. Food is what is very useful to humanity that we cannot do without.
Yes.
Food and catering services, transportation. Transportation we can by selling cars, selling car parts.
Exactly, because these are things people cannot do without.
And also fashion, textiles, clothing.
Yes.
Yeah, and also even electricity field, selling
Right. Okay, all right, thank you, Boasis. Okay. Any other comments? So I think I like what you said, because there are some businesses, yes, that we cannot do without. The other perspective I'm trying to look at it from is, because we know not every business that starts survive, even those that are doing food business or doing transport business, not all these businesses survive. Some failed, even no matter, I mean, there are people that have started food business, but they've closed down. What I'm trying to
What I think is that caused failure of businesses in the middle of the journey was maybe lack of capital, lack of income. Low income can also cause it, and also lack of capital to start even if you start the business in the middle of the way and it broke down and close up, according to what you said. Lack of capital to boost up and to continue the journey, and also number one problem there is low income.
Okay, I like that. Thank you. I think you've touched on one part we're going to look at later in the class, on lack of capital, of which I don't agree with. I mean, lack of capital is important, but as we proceed in the course, we would see.
I also have something to share.
Okay, please go on. They're doing.
In my business, yeah, out of 10, I'll give it a 7. That 7 people survived, 3% did not survive due to poor management, lack of customers, lack of financial planning, and poor business acumen too. Also part of the reason why 3% of the food business fail.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. So you say 70%, so out of 10, 7 would survive. Interesting, thank you. Okay, so a research was actually conducted on this question by the US Small Business Administration Department last year, and it showed that only 25% of small businesses make it to 15 years or more. So 33% would fail during the first 2 years. I mean, like you pointed out, are they doing? So in the first 2 years, out of 10 businesses, 3 or more are bound to fail. And in fact, as the years increases, the number of businesses that fail will also increase, unfortunately. And in a span of 15 years, so if 10 businesses start today, in 15 years' time, the research shows us that only about 2 to 3 of those businesses would still remain. And some of the reasons we see on why businesses fail: not satisfying a need. People start a business because it's something in fashion, but it's not satisfying the need of the customers. In many cases, there's an ineffective business plan. There's no plan to grow the business. Of course, we know the issue of lack of financing. In some cases, it's poor management. So the person running the business does not have the adequate skills to manage the business or to scale the business to the next level. And then you have the issues, of course, lack of social media presence, lack of understanding of the business industry, the business environment, and so other many reasons amongst others. And now for those of us who are in business or we intend to start a business, it's important for us to understand why businesses fail so we know what not to do, or we know what to do to avoid failure for our business. And one key part is about having the right structure from the beginning. Every business that would succeed or that would go far into the future starts with the foundation and how the business has been structured. So I have what I call here the small business growth pyramid. And it's something I've put together based on my years of experience and research. And it shows you in a graphical picture, not all the phases, but the key phases you need to follow to scale your business into the future, and also what you need to focus on part-time. Now, some of the mistakes we make as entrepreneurs when we want to start a business is that we start a company first. It's better to understand that there are 2 different things. You have the business and you have the company. In many cases, many of us don't need a company yet. We need to start the business, and then afterwards we can worry about making the business a company. Many people say, oh, I want to start a business, but I don't have the money. The main financial challenges we face at the early stage, most of them are administrative related and which have to do with starting a company. So when you're starting out on your business, your focus is the business itself, not the company. And I'm going to explain the difference. Now, at the starting point, what you need is a product and a customer. So when you have a product, something of value that you can deliver, it could be maybe you're baking, you have the skill to bake, and you're able to turn that skill into baking in good quality and a good quantity. And you have someone that is willing to pay for those things you have baked. You are in business. It's as simple as that. You have a product and you have a customer. You are in business. You don't need a business name. Of course, you will need a business name to identify your business. What I'm saying is you don't need to have a big business. You don't even need a shop. You don't need an office. If you have a product and you have a customer, you are in business. That's all. And of course, as the time goes by, you can look at putting other things in place. So the starting point is having a product, having a customer that is willing to pay for the product. And the next phase is how do you put structure around this business? What is your business model? Do you understand your business environment? And then as time goes by, how can you grow the business? How can you put in place a legal structure? Do you want to run it as a sole proprietor? Do you want to have it as a partnership? Or you want to make it a company? And then, of course, as time goes by, you need to scale the company, the business, by turning the business into a company. And now a company is a separate entity. At the early stage, you and your business, you are one. You are your business and your business is you. But as time goes by, the end goal should be how do you scale the business into a company so the business operates as a separate entity from you. And then, of course, at that point, you need to have a solid legal structure. You need to have a bank account. You need to have paperwork and all those things. But ideally, those things are not required at the start. Let's keep that in mind. So the focus of the class this afternoon would be on these last two blocks. Put on the highlighter. So the focus of the class today will be on these last two blocks. How do we start? And more importantly, how do we put structure in place, which is the focus of the module. Moving on quickly. How do you get your business started? Now, maybe you are still in the stage, you have an idea or you have a business that is still you're trying to put in place. How do you get started practically? How do you get started? Number one thing is a product. And a product can come in two forms, simple two forms, as an idea to offer a service or as a skill. Now I'm speaking to us today from the standpoint of that we are entrepreneurs and we are trying to start our own thing individually or in a small scale at the early stage. You want to start your own small catering business, you want to start your own small service business, as the case may be. The number one thing you need to have is a product. What's that something of value you're going to offer? If it's a case of baking, you have the skill, you've learned how to bake, you can bake. That is skill. People will not just pay you because you can bake, they would pay you because you've used the skill to do something. So you need to turn that skill into a product. So turn that skill of baking into a proper snack. It could be a cake, it could be meat pie, it could be bread or whatever. That is a product, something you can sell. Now, once you have the product, the next thing you need is a customer. Now, the challenge some of us have in the early stage of starting a business is once you have a product, the next thing is you're looking for a shop. No. Product, the next thing is customer. You need someone that can pay or that is willing to pay for the product. If you don't have a customer, there's no point getting a shop. Someone is saying, okay, but if I don't get a shop, how will customers come? If you don't get customers, how will you pay for the shop? So the first thing is you need to find someone that is willing to pay and has the ability to pay. And for something like catering, for many of us, you might have the chance to even do it in your house. And then you can deliver to people. So let's think first, think product, then secondly, think customer. Then the third thing you need to think about, which many of us miss at the early stage of setting the business, is the business philosophy. And this is so important because as the business grows, or as you continue in business, these are the things that would guide you on how you would operate your business. And when we talk about business philosophy, we are talking about 4 things basically. Number 1 is the mission of your business. Why are you in business? That's very important. You need to have that clear from the beginning. Your mission. Another word for that is the purpose. The second thing you need to think about is where do you want to take your business to? That's the vision, your aspiration. For example, let's say you're based in Dubai and you're starting out your catering business today. Your vision could be that by 2030, I want to have 50 stores across the UAE. That's the vision for your business. You need to have that early. That's where you want to take your business to. The third thing you need to keep in mind, or you need to ask yourself is, how do you want to operate your business? What are the values? What do you want customers to know you for? And now values could be quality. You want to sell only products of high quality. Your value could be fast delivery. You want to deliver within 2 hours. These are just examples, but you need to define your business values that this is the way we do business. For example, your values could be, we don't work on Sunday. It's important what you value the most and what is important for the business to thrive. Your values. And the last bit is, what's your brand identity? What's your business name? Even if it's not yet a company, it's advisable that you separate. Your business should have a name. You know, at times I've walked up to people and they tell me, oh, they do this service. I'm like, okay, what's the name of your business? The business doesn't have a name. You just know, okay, this is the person that delivers this service. If you want to buy cake, go to this person. It shouldn't be. Your business should have a name. Let's say, for example, your name is Joy, for example. Your business name could be Joy's Cakes. So there's Joy as the person, but there's Joy's Cake as the business. This is very important. If you can, give your business a logo. So when people see this logo, they know it's your business. When you put your logo on WhatsApp, when you put it on Instagram or other social media, your brand identity is very important. Now we're going to take a pause for you to try to reflect, but I just put a few notes here, what you don't need to start. Many of us think at the beginning you need huge sums of money, you need a bank loan, you need an office space, you need a company name, a company registration. In some countries or some cities, just by registering the business name is enough. But of course, depending on where you're based in, you need to seek legal advice on the best approach to follow. But let's keep this in mind: product, customer, business philosophy. So in a moment, I would like you to take the piece of paper you've got with you and just put down in about a minute or two, write down what's the vision of your business. Where do you want to take your business to? What's the mission? What's the purpose of your business? What are the values you want your business to be known for? So I'll just give us a minute, just take note of that so we are sure we are also making it practical as we go along. Okay, would anyone like to share? Maybe one or two people. If you already have your business philosophy before now, that's fine. If not, if there are one or two things you've noted, anyone would like to share? If you've got a question at this time. You can also send via the chat. I would carry on because I'm conscious of time for this class. So now that you've started your business, or now that you know what you need to start your business, the next thing is, how do we structure the business for growth? What are the pillars we need to put in place to ensure the business can grow? Nothing grows without a structure. The reason many small businesses fail and many small businesses struggle even without failing is there's really no structure in place. We are just sort of going by daily without a clear plan. There's no knowledge of the business. Some of us who are in business, there's no knowledge of that business. We don't understand the different elements that are important to making the business work, because a business is like a living organism. There are certain elements that are required to keep it alive and to keep it growing. The first element is the business model. And we're going to look at this in detail on the next slide. There are a few things that you need to be clear about your business. What's your business value proposition? What makes your business unique? What differentiates your business from the competition? How do you interact with your customers? Revenue, how does your business make money? Or is your business even making money? What's your cost structure? How much are you spending on the business? Then also understanding the business environment, understanding the opportunities around you, the threats around you, the strengths and weaknesses of your business. And of course, very important, basic financials. I understand there's one of the courses around accounting. I believe the course has been done. If not, it's a very important course you don't want to miss. Basic accounting, bookkeeping. These are the pillars you would need to put in place for your business to be able to grow eventually. Now, this slide is the main focus of the class today, and we're going to spend the next 10 minutes here, or even more, depending on the questions you might have. Please feel free to ask questions. It's a class, it's not a seminar. Please feel free to ask questions, particularly as we go through this business model canvas. Now, this business model canvas is a graphical depiction of the different elements of your business. It's mapping it out, everything that connects together to make your business work and serves as pillars to your business, mapping it out, understanding it. Now we're going to go through each of these elements and I'll give you examples, but I will need you to take a picture of this if you can. Otherwise, you can just go on Google and type the business model canvas, print it out, and complete it for your business. Now, if you want to make your business work, you have to complete this file. Oh, someone might say, okay, but what if I don't have the time? Remember, we are talking about putting structures in place for your business. This is an important aspect of it. If you can complete this for your own business, it would give you clarity around your strategy. It would help you understand your business better and to see where the opportunities are to grow your business and where the challenges are for you to close up. This business model was developed by a man called Alexander Osterwalder, and he's an entrepreneur. He's also a business management theorist. You can search him online. It's an interesting concept. I'll just pause a bit just to be sure you are with me before we carry on. Can I just get a response from anyone? You can drop a chat, you can make a comment just to be sure you're still with me.
Well, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Aziz.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adegoke. Any other persons? Can I get 2 more feedback or responses? Okay, I
Yeah,
see
we
it.
are here, sir.
Okay. All right. So the first element we're going to start with is the element in the middle, which is the value proposition. Now, the examples I'm going to share are for illustration only. So the examples I'm sharing are not what you have to do, but they could give you some ideas. So they are just for illustration. It's not the examples are not recommendations. They are just for illustrations. So the first piece of the business model canvas is what we call the value proposition. Now, this is a question you need to ask yourself. What makes my business unique? What is the added value of my business compared to competitors? And yeah, an example could be, now you're making snacks, you're making cake, you're making meat pie and the likes. Your value proposition could be that you make all these snacks delivered to the doorstep of people at affordable prices. So you're saying for your own business, your value proposition is all these snacks, so health, quality. The second one is self-delivery. So they don't need to go to a shop to go and buy it, you deliver it to them. The value there is convenience. Then affordable prices, meaning even though you're offering high quality, you will deliver it, the price is affordable. That's an example. So start thinking, asking yourself, noting down, what makes my business unique, or what value do I want to offer my customers that would be relevant to them, or that would make me different from what the other people are doing today? Because there's no business you want to start today that someone else is not doing, or at least doing something similar. You need to ask yourself, how can I make mine different? The next thing you need to do is your customer segments. So you've defined your value proposition. Now, who is your customer? And here we're talking about your target market. Who wants to buy your product? Who needs your product? You need to have that clear on paper. Not everybody is your customer. Even if everybody eats snacks, if everybody eats what you're baking, not everybody would be your customer. You need to define your target market. For example, for a small business into catering, your target market could be your neighbors and friends with busy lifestyles who do not have time to bake in their homes. You are baking, you are good at what you're doing, or perhaps you're even offering a service of maybe you know how to barb, for example. Your market could be people around you that you know, they are working in the corporate sector, 9 to 5, 9 to 6. They don't have time to bake. They don't have time to go out. Those could be your target market. And you say, this set of people, I will bake these snacks fresh. I will deliver it to them every morning before they go to work or before their children go to school. Are we following?
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing is to look at your customer relationships. Now, how do you stay connected to your customers? How do you stay connected to your customers? Would it be face-to-face, or would it be online or over the phone? Let's take, for example, for some of us that grew up or come from Nigeria, I don't know if you're familiar with the term agege bread. Can you just unmute or put a comment? Now, you would know that agege bread, ideally, there are people that sell it early in the morning. If you're familiar with Lagos, as early as 6:30 a.m. Now, this exactly as early in the morning, and these people, they know now they have two different types of markets. They have those that will come later in the day and come to their shop or come to their kiosk to buy. But their main target market are those at home that would need to feed their children for breakfast before they go to school. So what they do is they take the product there Early in the morning, as early as 6:30 or 7, they are knocking at your gate. You get the product. And then later in the days, the one that is remaining, they will just go and sit by their kiosk waiting for them to get it sold out. So for those people, their target market are those busy people that will go out in the morning. They need to feed their children. And for them, their customer relationship is face-to-face. The way they stay connected to us those years is face-to-face. They will come, they will knock on your gates. It's not online, like as we have today. What am I saying? You need to be clear. How would you stay connected to your customers? How would you stay connected to them? Would it be on the phone? Would it be face-to-face? But there needs to, those are gay-bred people, they come daily. So it's very difficult to steal their customer.
Yeah.
They know your house, they know your name. They know what time you wake up. They know the day your children are on midterm break. They know what you buy. In fact, as soon as they knock, they know they've already wrapped it down in nylon for you.
It's white bread.
Sometimes they don't even take money. They'll just wrap it down and drop it for you at the gate and come back. What am I saying? You need to be clear. How do you stay connected to your customers? Coach, I don't know if Coach is still with us. Can you please just drop me a chat on how many minutes I have left? So I'm sure I don't run out of time. Thank you, sir. Then the next thing is channels. How would the customer get to know about your product or about your business? How would they get your product? Now, this is very important because when you're starting the business, your number one job is marketing. You don't have any, your people need to know that you are into a business. And one of the reasons business fail at times is that we as entrepreneurs, as founders, at times we get shy about our business. Maybe we don't want people to associate the business with us, or maybe because we think the business is not doing well, we don't want to be associated with the failure. Now, as a business owner, you are the number one marketer. If you can print a t-shirt with your business and wear it everywhere, tell everybody, word of mouth, social media. In the case of baking and cake, a good example could be you can make samples and give to your friends. Let people know that this is what you do. You're a fashion designer, you can sew a cap, give to your friend. This is what I do. How would it get to me? I would deliver to you. But you need to have it clear. This is my channel. The next element, we come to the left part of the business model canvas, is what we call the key activities. Now, every business or every product has to go through a set of activities for the business to be ready, or for the product to be ready, I mean. Now, in the case of selling of snacks, selling of cake, selling of bread, for example, things around catering and baking, some of the key activities would include buying raw materials. You need to get the flour, you need to get the margarine, you need to get the milk and the different things, eggs and all those things. Then baking of the snacks as well. Then delivery, updating your social media. Why is this important? Many of us just start out into a business and we just do the business without having a plan. If you're able to map out the key activities, then you're able to plan your schedule, you're able to plan your time to ensure that everything needed for the business is going in place. But if you don't list out all the activities you need to do, you'll most likely find out that you are missing out on one or two key activities. Next thing is the key resources. And the key resources here, what are the tools or resources you need to achieve your key activities? For example, one of the key activities, like we said, could be baking. What do you need for baking? You need an oven. You need stable electricity. Now, updating Instagram, what do you need? You need internet. If you want to deliver the goods yourself, what do you need? You probably need a car or a means of transport. If you don't have all these elements clear, and how you would tackle them, there would be struggle. It would be a case of zigzag. The business is up today, it's down tomorrow. The next thing you need to think about is what we call the key partners. What are the third parties, the other companies or suppliers you would need to partner with to achieve your key activities? For example, you want to deliver the snacks to the home of your customers and you don't have a car, then you will need a delivery rider. Are you going to work with an individual delivery rider, or are you going to work with a company? You are into tailoring, you want to deliver the finished clothes to your customers. How would you do it? These little elements count because they tie back to your business value. Let's say, for example, you've promised your customers the delivery in 24 hours. But if you don't have a delivery system in place, you can't achieve the 24 hours. It's important. The next element on the business model canvas is your cost structure. What is the cost of operating the business? One of the challenges we face as small business owners at the early stage is that we don't know the cost of our business because we put it under personal cost. But you need to separate your own personal cost from the cost of your business for you to have a clear picture of how much is this business costing you. And when we talk about cost, important to understand that there are two types of cost, broadly speaking. We have what we call the variable cost, and we have what we call the fixed cost. Now, the variable cost are the costs that change with quantity. For example, raw materials. If you want to make, let's say, 2,000 meat pie, the number of materials you need would be different from the ones you need if you want to make 5,000 meat pie. So raw material in that case is variable. Variable means it changes with the activity. The next type of cost broadly is what we call the fixed cost. These are the costs that whether or not you sell or make anything, the costs remain in place. Let's say, for example, as part of your business, to promote your business, you bought a data plan for internet and you pay 200 dirhams every month for the data plan. Now, whether you sell meat pie or not, you have to pay the internet, correct?
Yeah.
Therefore, internet is a fixed cost. Another cost could be electricity. A part of it could be variable though, because if you are not using the oven often, the electricity bill should not be high. But there's a basic amount you still need to pay for electricity, whether you bake or you do not bake. Why is this important? The fixed cost in particular is very important for you to know so you don't end up losing money. Another cost that is not really popular that many of us overlook, even many professionals and experts, is what we call the opportunity cost. Now, opportunity cost is not always monetary. It simply means what you have to give up. Let's say, for example, you are running your own business today, full-time, you are not employed, and your business is making you 2,000 dirhams in a month, and you are doing your business full-time. Alternatively, someone is offering you a job full-time, and you understand that you cannot do both at the same time. And the job would give you 3,000 dirhams in a month, but your business is giving you 2,000. Now, by not taking that job, there is a cost of 3,000. The concept of opportunity cost is a bit reverse psychology. You are not losing 3,000 per se, but you are not getting, so there's a cost. What I'm saying is that as a business owner, you need to think, what am I giving up? Or what is this business costing me? Am I better off with this business or not? My recommendation I usually give small business owners is, as much as you can, try to, if you have a full-time job, do not quit your job at the early stage of your business. Try to run both in parallel until your business has grown enough to sustain you and to sustain itself. The final piece of the business model canvas is the revenue streams. How does your business make money? Or where are the revenues coming from? And now we need to think broadly here. For someone that is into baking, the natural thing you would think is that the only way you can make money is when you sell products, when you bake and when you sell. But you could also make money from event catering. You could make money from organizing training class. You could make money from organizing a taste and see session. You need to think, how can I grow my revenue? But first, you need to understand today, how am I making money? Because if you are not making money, there's no point doing business. A business is not an NGO. They are two different things. The focus of this class is a business. And for a business, the bottom line is, are you making money or not? Is what is coming in enough to cover your fixed costs? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. If not, how can I increase revenue? And that's it. Those are the 9 elements of the business model canvas. Before we move to the next slide, I think we've just got 1 or 2 slides left. Any questions on the business model canvas? Any question on any of the elements we have looked at here, specifically to this slide? If you have a question, you can please unmute your mic or you can send it via the chat. Okay. Now, what I've put here is a sample income statement, and it's just for illustration, for you to understand what's revenue, what is cost. And I'm going to go through this very quickly. Now, in accounting, there are different kinds of statements, but a statement that is simple and every business owner should have is what we call an income statement. Another word for it is profit and loss statement. It shows your profits. Are you making money or are you losing money? It shows what is coming in and what is going out. Now, at the top here, we have what we call the quantity. So let's imagine now you're selling meat pie, for example, or you're selling bread as an example. Now, let's say in the first month, you sold 1,200 pieces of meat pie. And you're selling one meat pie at 5 dirhams. Your revenue for the month, now not your profits, your revenue, what came in for the month is 6,000 dirhams, which is 1,200 times 5. Are we making sense? Okay, I'm just checking on the time. We have about 5 minutes left. Okay. So what the revenue for the month is 6,000. The next thing you need to see, okay, what was the cost of the revenue? How much did it cost me to buy the raw materials? That's the first element, the costs used to make the revenue. Let's imagine from the baking materials, the raw materials, everything, you spent 3,500. Now your gross profit is 2,005, which is the 6,000 minus 3,500. The next thing you now need to look at is, what are your expenses? Now, some of us, we stop at this stage. I bought the raw materials 3,500, I made 6,000. Business is good, I made 2,500 for the month. But in reality, that's not what you made. That's just your gross profit, because there were other indirect expenses you incurred. Let's say, for example, you are running a campaign on Instagram and you're paying 500 monthly. It's an expense. Maybe you are paying the delivery rider 50 fuels per delivery. It's an expense. Maybe you are paying for mobile data or you are paying for rent. It's an expense. Now, if where your business is, if that's the same place you live, then you can put the rent under the business expense. In this case, if we consider those expenses examples, remember these are just illustration, marketing, delivery fees, rent and utilities. You spend 2,000 on expenses that are not directly related to the meat pie. So what you need to do is to also consider those expenses. So if we take that 2,000 away from the 2,500 profit, your net profit is 500. So what you actually made at the end of the month is not 25. What you made is 500. Is this bit clear?
Yes, sir.
Any questions, please feel free to stop me. Why did I show this? Because as business owners, finance is important. We need to understand if we're making money or if we're not making money. It's very important to understand that. And if you're making money, where's the money coming from? If you're losing money or if your expenses are high, where's the money going into? Remember, profit is revenues minus expenses. Profit is revenues minus expenses. Okay, so back to you again. Can you just take a moment? What would your own business model canvas look like? We've talked about the 9 elements. Like I said, please go online, print it out, or you can note it down and just write down quickly what's my value proposition, my customer interactions, how would I relate with my customers, what are the key activities, what is my cost structure, and what is my revenue structure. So just take a moment to do this as we open the floor for questions. So we're done with the teaching. We're done with the class for today. I'll open the floor now for questions. If you have questions, please unmute your mic, your name and your question. You can also send them via the chat. It's a class, please feel free to ask questions. We've talked about how you can start your business, how you can structure your business, and very importantly, we looked at the 9 elements of the business model canvas, which are critical to every business. So please ask your questions.
Please feel free to ask your questions. It's a class. Don't hide your question. Feel free to ask your question about business canvas, business structure, and then like what we were just taught. Structuring a business, it's from when it's not until your business is big. In fact, when from ideas, when you start it step by step, is when you need to be putting things together. So like the question is, what would your model be? So please feel free to ask a question. Don't be shy. You can unmute yourself. Thank you.
I would assume the teachings was simple and straightforward. Before I sign out, I would like to request your feedback. So if you have your phone, just scan the barcode. It would only take a minute. Your feedback is valuable, so we can improve the course for the future and also improve the teaching format and style. So please just scan the barcode. I would also put in the chat the survey link, or if you want to just click on the link directly, just 4 questions. Should take less than a minute.
Please do scan and okay. I think some people, sir, I think some people might be using their phone.
Their phone, yes. So I'm going to share the link also.
Okay, that's good. Maybe you just check the link.
So I've just put the link now in the chat. So if you're
please check the chat box with the link, and then you can just go ahead, please.
All right. If any question just before I take my leave. Okay, if there are none, thank you all for the time. It's been a pleasure taking this class.
Thank you.
You can see that business, they want to start business with our home capital, with the checking of opportunity cost. There must be proper check and balancing. So, which I see that to help the company to grow and to move forward. That is just what I've reason towards.
Very good point. Very good point. Thank you, Adegoke. Thank you, Adegoke. And on that point on capital, perhaps just to mention a closing thought before I leave. While money, of course, is important, capital is important, but at the early stage of your business, don't worry too much about, don't let capital be a showstopper. If you have a skill and you can bake, and you have little money, what you can do first is to use that little money to start baking first. And then from that, when you sell, you make a profit from that little money, you buy again. So you go layer and layer. If you're able to get an initial upfront loan, maybe someone willing to support the business at the start, that's good. And also, if you're not getting customers at the beginning that would pay, and you have some amount of money you could use to start a business, what I would recommend is to start with samples. If you're baking, you can make samples. If you find it difficult to find a customer, make samples, give to people, then ask them for referrals. That if you liked this meat pie or this cake, patronize me and also refer me to your neighbors, to your friends, and to your colleagues. Or maybe you are offering a service. And if you are offering a service, it's perhaps even easier. Capital is less of a challenge. Maybe you can cut hair, for example, and you're offering a service. Now you find it difficult to find a customer and it's a skill that you have. What you can do is you can go to someone and tell the person, I know how to barb. Even if you don't have a clipper, I know how to barb. Do you have a clipper? The person says yes. Can I come and barb you? You don't have to pay me. I would barb you. If you like the haircut, patronize me the next time. If you like the haircut, refer me to your friends. It's as simple as that. And from there, you get your first client, you get paid. You get your second client, and on and on and on like that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Coach Korede. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very, very much, sir, for been a pleasure. Thank you very, very much. And just to purchase the point you just talked about, to see all these capital. We know capital is important in doing business, but the truth is, at this present times that we have, if we keep, because we've been waiting for it, you have so many things competing with your attention. That's just the truth. You have your rent, you have your, upkeeps. Do you get that is competing with that with